Hello everyone, today we're going to explain how to use eVang to import Huawei device images. First, we need to open VMware. Open the eVang virtual machine from VMware. Here we can see that eVang has already obtained an IP address. Now let's open the browser. Enter this address: 192.168.242.128. Here, enter the username and password. The username is admit and the password is Eve. Now we are logged into the eVang interface. In its initial state, we actually don't have many images available. If in the future you want to use some Huawei devices, we will need to import images, and this software will be necessary for that. In this software, we need to establish a connection. Here, select SCP and enter the address 192.168.242.128. After entering the information, input the username and password. Here, we need to enter root as the username and Eve as the password. Then we click on Login. After logging in, select the location of the images on the left. For me, it's on the D drive in the Huawei folder. You should choose the path based on your own situation, so here we select OPT. In this path, we will store some images. If in the future we want to use Huawei routers, we can drag and drop the Huawei router image package here. If you plan to use switches in the future, for example, CE devices, you can click on CE12800 and drag that folder over here. In addition to switches, we also have our firewalls. Here we will be using Huawei's USG firewall. Drag it over here. Here we can see some of the images we just imported. In the folder where you import the images, it's enough to just have these files. You don't need anything else, and there shouldn't be any folders within folders. During this process, let's refresh the page. Here, right-click to create a new device, and you will see the devices we just added. For example, we will demonstrate the router, switch, and firewall here. Click on Save at the bottom. This is for the router and switch. We select C2800 and click Save, then we choose the firewall. For the firewall, it's the USG 6000V, and we click Save at the bottom. Once the creation is complete, we select it and right-click to start. Let's take a look at the startup status of each device one by one. For example, here, we have our USJ series. We can just press Enter here to get started. Here, we need to enter the password, which is admin. Once we've finished entering the information, we can start using the USJ series firewall. Next, let's take a look at the CE devices. We'll start them up here. Now, during this process, we press Enter to see that we can directly enter the device to configure it. Of course, it also has a startup process. Next, let's take a look at the router. Let's turn on the router. Here we wait for it to boot up. Here we can press any key to get started. For example, we can press the Enter key. Next, we input the username Super and the password, which is also Super. During this process, you will be able to use Huawei switches, Huawei routers, and Huawei firewalls in the future. If your devices have limited performance, you can also start them one by one and gradually boot them up. If you need to obtain Huawei device images or related virtualization environments, feel free to message me for a free copy. Or you can leave a comment below the video. Let's have a technical exchange.